My name is Jesus Mena, and today I'm analyzing the 2007 film Paranormal Activity directed by Oran Peli. My main argument is that the movie used supernatural horror to symbolize trauma, loss of control, and the breakdown of relationships. The demon represents Kitty unresolved childhood traumas, and Mika's behavior represents ego. Also denial and the need of control something he doesn't understand. Paranormal Activity follows Kitty and Mika, a couple living together who began to experience paranormal things in their home. Kitty reveals that the demonic presence has been following her since she was a child. Mika decides to record everything with the camera, which turns the home into a constant super brilliant space. As the hunting gets worse, their communication breaks down, their trust collapse, and both characters mainly unravel because movies film like a found footage. It feels personal and real, almost like we're stuck in the house with them. One Foster chapter that applies to this film in every trip is a quest. Foster explains that a quest includes a goal, a journey, trials, and self knowledge. But he fails the quest because his obsession and ego makes the situation worse. He doesn't gain wisdom. Instead, he loses control completely. Another Foster chapter that fits is vampires and ghosts. Foster says that the vampire doesn't have to be literal monsters. They can be people who drain others emotionally. Mikas becomes a symbolic vampire in the relationships. He ignores Kitty's boundaries, refuses to stop filming, and treats her trauma even he treats his trauma like an entertainment. Meanwhile, the demons acts as a little parasite. Both of them drain her in different ways, one emotionally and the other psychology. The chapters help to show that the horror in this movie isn't just a demon; it's also the emotional diamond between them, and their own, what's it called? Uh, their own differences. I also use an academic article about trauma and horror in horror films, which explains that many horror stories use the home and symbol for unresolved psychological wounds. Trauma comes back as a haunting or possession. The idea fits this movie perfectly because the entire haunting is connected to Kitty's past. The demon isn't just a monster; it's a result of something she never healed from. It represents trauma that follows her into adulthood and affects in the people around her. One important sense to analyze is the nighttime bedroom footage. The camera is still, the room is silent, and there's tension. When Kitty gets out of bed and stands still for hours, the movie shows possession and dissociation, like she's mentally leaving her body. The moment connects to the psychological lens because trauma often appears in moments where someone shuts down emotionally and doesn't react. The sense also fits the vampire idea because the demon seems to feed on her when she is most vulnerable. Another key sense is Mika's obsession with filming. He refused to stop, even with even if Kitty begins to beg him to stop. He doesn't. The camera becomes a symbol of power and control towards her. It shows how he prioritizes his ego over her safety. Um, and well, I cannot imagine the feeling of someone you love doing that to you. This supports my thesis because it reveals that the Mike's behavior is part of the horror, not only the ghost. He treats the haunting like a challenge he can win. It and which connects Break to foster idea of a quest. But his quest is to build arrogance, not understanding. and that only makes the dangers worse. A third important sense is when Kitty gets dragged out of bed. This is one of the most shocking moments in the film because the hallway becomes a symbol of crossing from safety into danger. From from the psychological perspective, this moment represents trauma taking physical form, something Kitty cannot escape from. It also shows powerless Mike's actually how powerless Mike is actually. Even with all the confidence, he cannot protect her or control anything happening inside the house. My thesis is that the movie used supernatural horror to show how fear, trauma, ego, and everything destroys communication in the relationship. The demon represents the weight of Kitty Past, and Mike represents a refusal to listen and accept the limits, and also the refuse to respect someone else's boundaries. The more he pushes, the worse the hunted becomes. Even though Paranormal Activity is a horror movie, it still follows the structure of hero's journey. The ordinary world is Kitty and Mike's normal life together. The call adventure is when hunting begins. The refusal is Kitty's not wanting to deal. The refusal is Kitty not wanting to deal with it and asking Mike to stop filming. The mentor figure is the psychic who warns them that the demon feeds on stress. Crossing the threshold is Mike deciding to record everything. The test and failure are those noises, shadows, footprints, and Kitty's possession like behavior. The ordeal is the night she gets dragged out of bed. The reward is the illusion of control that Mike thinks he has, even though he really doesn't. The rollback is their attempt to calm things down, but the demon becomes stronger. The resurrection is Kitty becoming fully possessed, and the return with the elixir is actually a failure. There is no cure, no lesson learned, and no safe return. The ending shows that trauma, when ignored, doesn't go away. In conclusion, Paranormal Activity works as both a superhero and psychological story. The film shows how trauma follows people, how relationships fall apart, and when communication fails, and how fear brings out the worst of people, even people you think you know. We can see that the movie is not just about a demon, it's about what happens when people stop working together and try to voice its past, their fears, and they refuse to listen to each other. The horror becomes stronger when the characters stop communicating, and and that's what makes the story more powerful in my opinion.